Hello and welcome to the DKM Podcast, episode 41. I'm here with my co-hosts, Danny and Marcos. How are you guys doing today?
Chilling, enjoying the night, Labor Day weekend coming up.
Yeah, doing pretty good. Doing good. Can't complain, really.
So, been having some, issues with my gigabyte stuff. You guys want to hear some updates?
Have you gone to therapy about it yet?
Oh man, dude.
It's hard
So let's just say I've not only gone to therapy, I've also gone to rehab and I've gone to prison too.
Oh, Kenny, the road is very rocky, but you know that we're here for you.
Oh, I know.
We're all here for
I
you.
love
This
you guys.
development arc in the anime is pretty cool. This character development arc, I'm quite enjoying it.
Yeah, I hope they don't retcon this shit later because it's really gonna hurt the character development.
Dude,
Honestly.
seriously though.
Especially after everything got hacked and now things are starting to recover. I hope
Yeah.
they don't retcon it in the new movie.
Yeah. So, here's an update. I was able to reach somebody at Gigabyte. First and foremost, this gentleman
That's
was
rare.
super freaking nice. It wasn't customer service. I had to go to the sales department in order to get in hold with somebody. Apparently, the customer service is so backed up. They're backed up for a whole month, and so is RMA. So, I'm not going to be seeing my graphics card for a whole nother month.
At least.
Another month.
Damn, dude.
Like, rip my dreams, rip my hopes, and rip my my everything, really.
Can we get some F's in the chat, please?
Can we get some P's in the chat too?
What, you want P's and Q's now?
Hell yeah.
All I know is that I think you told me about someone waiting 5 months for their whole gigabyte PC.
Dude, yeah. So I was looking up forums on like people not like customer service not responding. Somebody's like, I sent in my PC 5 months ago. When am I getting my PC back? Gigabyte. I was like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, yeah, so Gigabyte's a real shit show right now.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys aren't gonna question that? Okay.
Oh.
No, I thought Marcos was saying something. I was like,
I thought you cut out for a moment. I'm like, what?
No,
What's happening?
no, it's just a
you're
real
fine,
shit
you're
show.
fine.
So
Oh.
like,
no, yeah, I understand. Honestly, though, man, like I said, with most computer things and computer parts, it's been I just haven't been really following most of this crap because everything is so overpriced and everything is
well,
like,
yeah,
so,
but I
like,
mean, it's not
MSRP
even just
right
like
now.
it's not even graphics cards. It's just the fact that like Gigabyte as a company is just pooping on themselves. So
Right, because they got ruined by existential forces that they
yeah,
have no control over. Essentially, like that's what sucks. Because this wasn't like, oh, it's a market thing. It's just, no, you guys got fucked with.
Mhm.
yeah. So I mean, so what really happened was that Gigabyte, they had their hack, and then on top of that, they had a video publicized by Gamers Nexus. Steve from Gamers Nexus. Everybody watches Gamers Nexus. He did a video on PSUs exploding, and
Gigabyte, right?
yeah, Gigabyte PSUs exploding,
Okay.
and the issue was that what's it called? That they're exploding, you know what I mean? It's not like they're exploding over like 60%. Some of them are coming in dead on arrival, and then some of them are, normal. They're working perfectly fine. Anyways, they had like 7 units. Most of them exploded. And then they did a speed run. It was I think it was called the GPP 700 or 750 and 850 PSUs that they have. And
Yeah.
dude, oh my god, Gigabyte, like, they stepped on their own foot afterwards, after the video was publicized. They took a shot at Gamers Nexus saying like, "Oh, it's the media outlets that aren't doing real world scenarios," which they are. They're doing like lab testing scenarios.
Okay.
And they did a speed run on how fast they can blow up a PSU.
And they were just using them like as planned. They weren't like purposely, actively trying to cause a reaction, right?
What the The explosion?
The guys who were testing this out, like, were they like purposely trying to like cause like a high demand on this thing in order to
So
like,
they found out that the overcurrent protection was set at 150%.
Mm,
And that was the issue.
gotcha.
It needed to be
So
reduced
that's
to
what these guys-
120% to 110%. And then on top of that,
And of course, you can't do that. You have to.
Yeah, you have to
obviously
recall it.
That's on the manufacturer. Right. All right. Okay. So yeah. So long story short, these guys are saying, "Hey, you guys have these power supplies that are dangerous that could damage and fry entire systems, including other people's components. It's really bad." And rather than you said it was Gigabyte,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They rather than just like, okay, we acknowledge the issue, we're gonna fix it. Let me call out the people that outed us out essentially. That's fucking funny. That's funny, and that's messed up. Oh well, that sucks that it sucks that you're gonna be stuck without a graphics card from them for a little bit. But we'll hope that eventually this issue would get resolved.
Especially with
but,
Gigabyte stuff. I just got Gigabyte 3080 Ti and the Gigabyte motherboard, a beefy one, so things are not what do you call it? Things
So yeah, I'm avoiding Gigabyte. Let's just put that in perspective.
Yeah.
We're avoiding Gigabyte. But anyways, let's move on to a next topic now. Actually, because as you guys probably heard, the new Horizon Zero Dawn game is coming out pretty soon, I believe. Right?
yeah,
When's the release date for that
Horizon
game?
Forbidden West. It's February 18th of 2022.
Okay. I haven't played the first Horizon game. I know it just got released on PC, so I should probably take a look at that. But if you guys haven't heard yet, Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West is getting a dual release. It's coming out on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And of course, the main question a lot of people are asking with this current generation is like, okay, can I buy the last generation copy of the game and then later be upgraded for either a fee or for free to the next generation? Because I think that with the whole upgrade path is sort of kind of redundant if you think about it, because there's so many games already that are backwards compatible. It's not like, okay, you could pick the upgrade path because you want to play a PS5 version. You just want to play a better version of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I could play Spider-Man Miles Morales and Spider-Man PS4 on my PlayStation 5 just fine. Like, for example, with Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima, we talked about this a couple of episodes ago, where they're trying to sell you this director's cut is with extra content, and I feel like that I haven't played the director's cut content yet, so I can't really judge like how much the upgrade path is worth it. But it's a hard sell for a lot of people, because it's like, well, you already made the game run at 60 FPS.
Exactly,
on
and
the
it already
game.
looks like it's running at 4K anyways, so who needs a checkerboarded 4K?
Right, so people are kind of like, well, what's the incentive? So now they have to debate on like getting better content and things like that.
Well, here's my thing.
going
Why
back
not just do what Xbox does? Smart delivery. I mean,
with smart
delivery
yeah,
is such a good answer to upgrades.
I agree. I think that should be the thing we should look at. So what Horizon's situation is that they're not offering a free upgrade path at all, unless you get their super expensive, like 175 to 275, I believe, special and collector's editions, which I just find that kind of like, okay, so you're essentially I eventually have to hit triple digits in order to get your copy of your game on the platform I want. And what I thought about this in perspective is that clearly people want PlayStation 5s. I mean, that's just the thing now, like it's not like a situation where it's like, well, if you get the new system, you can't play the last generation. You could play the last generation games just fine on your PlayStation 5. So a lot of people are looking at this PlayStation 5 as just a clear upgrade. So I'm more concerned and curious about how many people are just going to be like, I'm not going to bother, getting a PlayStation 4 copy of Horizon unless I get a PlayStation 5, because there's no incentive. Like,
Yeah,
I bought
exactly.
the launch edition of Miles Morales for $40 purely on the basis like, well, if I get a PlayStation 5, I get to upgrade it to the PS5 for free,
Yeah, of course. And another thing is, like, what is it? Like, now Xbox has, Senua's Sacrifice just got another update. Apparently they added ray tracing to the game. And it's running at 60 frames with ray tracing enabled, or 120 without it. And they added more particle effects and stuff like that, but it was through smart delivery when they updated this game. So, like, the way it works.
No extra charge.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
anything.
Well,
It was just
yeah,
like a free update. Like, oh, we just did that, and I think that's pretty impressive. I give mad props to that. It's like a regular patch essentially at
that's
this
what
point.
that's essentially
Um,
what it is. So when you go to play the game, it'll say this game needs to be upgraded. So you click upgrade, and then it'll start downloading the update for the next gen patch.
I'm assuming that you could still play these games even without the next gen
You
patch,
can, you
right?
can. So if you didn't want it to be
Okay.
like the next generation, um, I think before I don't even know anymore now because now that I'm thinking about it, when you download it, it automatically downloads the best version of the game.
Oh, I was thinking more like in a disc-based scenario where it's like you're not connected to the
Oh
internet.
yeah, then yeah, you can play the original copy of the game. It won't be the upgraded
Okay.
version. So if you're offline and you're on a disc, then yeah, obviously it's gonna download the disc version of the game.
I'm not sure what
Yeah. So
Guerrilla Games Studio, the people who developed the Horizon Zero Dawn, I haven't seen what their PR team has said about this whole
Fiasco.
upgrading thing.
Apparently it came
The whole
out
fiasco.
yesterday. This whole fiasco came out yesterday with the upgrading issue. But a lot of Sony fans are starting to give Sony like a real big issue about this because it's like you look at Xbox, you look at their model, you look at their Game Pass, you look at how they're delivering upgrades to their consoles, and it's like, man, Sony is just so convoluted. You need to spend $10 here or $30 over here, $20 over here to upgrade your game. Then you might download
yeah,
the
they're nickel and
wrong.
diming you. With Xbox, it's been very like cut and dry. It's like, hey, here's a free upgrade. You don't even got to sweat about it. You just you play the game like normal, and then
Yeah,
we got an update for you. Now it's like, well, if you could get the better version, but we need to get our cut out of
yeah,
it, and
exactly.
I guess
that's really
I view it more with if you look back at the 360 era and the PlayStation 3 era, PlayStation and I think the Wii was out during this era as well. They wanted to do cross-platforming or something along those lines, but Xbox, being the big daddy console of that generation, said, "No, we're not going to do it." Now PlayStation 4 and last gen arguably won, I think, because of everything, like how it first was announced, obviously without a Connect, without a with proper game sharing, like physical discs and stuff. And now PS5 obviously is, at least at this point, is gaining more momentum as a console as a whole, hardware and software, just because people wanted the PS5. And you can even look at when it comes to scalpers, it's a lot harder to come
Oh,
by
did
a
you hear about
PS5
what
than it is an
happened with
Xbox One, Xbox Series X or S. My bad. What
uh,
happened with what?
with Austin Evans' video? Apparently, scalpers are now upping their price because they have the old version of the console, which seems to be quote unquote better, even though there's
With
like
the
probably
heatsink?
no different. Yeah.
I don't really believe that heatsink could be worse or better. I think that, what was it? You can get similar temperatures when you change out for like I forgot who used this example, but it could still be the same cooling technique, but they're
Hmm.
just taking the temperature off the exhaust. They're not measuring the actual internals of it. So just because it's a 2
Exactly.
degrees Celsius increase through the exhaust, that doesn't generally mean that the console itself is hotter as a whole. But yeah, I don't think that uh like Sony's trying to play hardball, much like how the 360 played hardball with Microsoft played hardball with the 360 when it comes to cross platforms, because they just feel like they're on top. So to tell you the truth, people are still gonna buy this newer version of the game of Horizon. People are gonna buy, like, even if Miles Morales didn't have the free upgrade.
Hmm.
Honestly, like, yeah, it's going to what do you call it? People are just still gonna buy it just to buy it because it's on a new console. People are gonna pay that $70 price tag because yeah, it's
they want to have that YouTube thumbnail and titles like PS5 gameplay first viewing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why people look at, like, gaming channels look at console purchases that are ridiculously expensive and even paying scalper prices, because to them that's a business investment.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I paid $1,000 for my PlayStation 5, but I probably made $5,000 back on my Twitch stream because people really want to watch me play Spider-Man on PlayStation 5 with ray tracing.
Right. Or they just want to see the new what was it, Spider-Man remastered
Oh yeah,
on ray
Spider-Man
tracing, because
PS4
it
remastered.
does look good. It looks great.
It looks really
Uh,
good. So like apparently the lead developer for that graduated from my college. Kind of cool.
Neat.
All I know is that uh, this is something from Horizon you would expect to see from 2K and FIFA because
From
it's exactly what
EA.
2K did with the Black Mamba Mamba edition, tribute to Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. But it did something similar and people were upset about it. But honestly, people are still gonna buy it just to buy it.
Oh yeah, just like Call of Duty, just like the whole what's it called? The whole quote unquote boycott of Call of Duty and Blizzard and Activision. People are still gonna buy Call of Duty. It's just
Well,
gonna
of course,
happen, and then you're still gonna have those people that defend these companies, which makes no
I don't think
sense.
it's
They're just trying to siphon money out of your wallet.
I don't think it's defend. I think it's more about like I'm already so
Damage
invested
control.
into this game. No, they're already vested into this game. So like, yeah, like some people
No,
don't like
like you
what's
can play
happening.
your Modern Warfare, but I'm talking about buying the new Call of Duty, like supporting their
Oh,
new
okay,
developments, like getting Diablo 2 remastered or getting Call of Duty Vanguard.
right. Honestly, like I wanted to get Diablo 2 remastered, but now since all this is happening, I'm like, eh. Then
Yeah.
again, like I guess I can talk myself out of feeling bad when it comes to buying Activision games because it has the
hmm
Activision label, not the Activision Blizzard label or the Blizzard label. Because, well, yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it, just as a cop out.
I would protest because I'm mad at them making every Activision active development studio as a part of the Call of Duty team. So the fact we're probably not going to get another Crash game makes me die a little inside.
I'm
So,
mostly more upset
So
about the anti-cheat system in Call of Duty. That doesn't exist.
with the lack thereof.
so
Yeah, the lack
Marcos
thereof. What?
and Danny, you guys were talking about Fortnite earlier.
Oh, Fortnite?
Yeah, last week.
We're playing Fortnite?
Yeah, last week
Where are we dropping, boys?
Well,
to the
we're
MLK,
Where we're
dropping
the
dropping?
MLK
the
marching
Washington
event.
Monument.
We're watching what? That's new map got added? Fucking finally, dude.
Yeah, so
These crossover events are getting kooky, aren't
Fruity.
so
they?
just a quick update for those who aren't aware. The what do you call it? Fortnite Epic as a whole wanted to do a to reach a younger
Well,
audience.
Time Magazine.
Right.
As,
Right, with Time Magazine using the Martin Luther King's I forgot which foundation it is. I don't know if it was the nonprofit. No, it was the profit one that was run by Martin Luther King the third. They did something with Time in order to do something with this to work with Epic to have MOK on what do you call it, on, well, Fortnite, to spread the message around and whatnot. Well,
to teach them kids, you know?
right. So here's the thing. The I get the sentiment, right? That's nice that you're trying to teach history, American history, in such a way where minorities have been subjugated to such discrimination and such nasty behavior that was sanctioned by the government and led by the government. So this institutionalized racism basically just became a something of Americans' tainted history. And I'm glad that they're teaching it some way, somehow, but
Yeah.
on Fortnite, it's just so they banned certain skins. They banned like a good amount of emotes. But here's the problem, though. There's a backlash, unironic, like no pun intended. Actually, no, you know what? Forget it. Pun intended. There was a backlash because there's a DC event happening with Catwoman, Wonder Woman, in the in Fortnite, and they can't get rid of those emojis, or I mean emojis, emotes, for whatever contract the DC thing is. So we all know that Wonder Woman has her lasso, but Catwoman has her whip, and people was able to use the Catwoman whip and lashings during the MLK event. So when MLK is giving his speech in front of Washington Monument, the whole famous I have a dream, free at last, thank God Almighty God, free at last, don't judge I want to live in a world where my children are not judged by the color of their skin but the content of the character, yada yada yada. But people are just throwing the whips out there, and it was a very very like it was a pretty iffy situation. Like it's not.
It's a bit of a yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a yikes, and I think these guys didn't have like the proper like. I always find it hilarious when companies like try to do this thing where it's like all feel good and stuff, and they don't quite get how the internet works. Like people are
Well,
gonna fuck with you no matter
Can we
what.
just like
Whether it's a
refer
poll,
back to Gay Pride Month and the Ivy DC skin or DC thing
Wait, the what?
where you had to beat the
what?
shit out of Ivy?
Oh yeah.
The beating the shit out of
It always
Poison
has
Ivy,
to
that
do
was
with
funny.
DC, doesn't
Oh
it?
no,
Like,
the event that was no wait.
No, it was DC. It was Poison
No.
Ivy.
Yeah.
What game was it? I'm trying to remember
Injustice 2.
Injustice. That's what it was. Injustice. Yeah.
Yeah, the mobile game. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it's just that companies like try their best to like, get into gaming, and they think like, oh, let's just do this feel good moment, but it's like people are gonna fuck with it. You gotta like, you gotta have like the foresight and be like, okay, what are people gonna do with this? What is the potential with it? It's like whenever they do online polls, like I was watching Internet Historian not that long ago about like, oh, we're gonna do an online poll for where Justin Bieber should perform, and then like they 4chan took all of the votes and they voted all for North Korea. North Korea won, but they pussied out in the last minute, and I was like, well, fuck you then. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like I believe that they had really good intentions. I think they they sat down in the boardroom like, we need to how do we get this message across to kids, and kids like Fortnite, right? But who also plays Fortnite? It's a bunch of immature kids, so they're gonna do some fucking like really stupid shit,
You
Well,
almost
much
said
like
something
with-
bad.
Much like with any company, obviously Fortnite wanted to get money out of this. Time probably paid them, and Time wanted to get some, and even the Martin Luther King estate. I forgot what they called it, but the for-profit organization wanted sub recognition, obviously, and also spread the message to kids, which is a noble gesture, a noble act, telling people about American history as a whole, and that's cool. But it's just Fortnite of all games, the comedic, like out of all the BRs, obviously Fortnite is very comedic. It's like there's no blood. It's just.
I don't think you should put your fucking, anti-racism message or moment in history in a fucking video game at all. In fact, I can't think of.
I remember another thing that was a big backlash. So you know how on the loading screen for most games it tells you, hey, like a message, like game tips or whatever.
Yeah, like tips.
Yeah.
Right.
The game tips for the Martin Luther King event, it had Rick and Morty. They were still doing the Rick and Morty event, right? But the problem didn't come with the what do you call it? With so much the loading screen. Even though the loading screen isn't that serious, people were thinking they were going to change the loading screen to a Martin Luther King styled loading screen. But the tips said, hey, headshots does more damage than when you're shooting him somewhere.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah, so stuff like that. I'm like, really? You're like, it's cool that you're celebrating this event, but you still have the whip emoji, the emote. You have the you have what's this thing called? Headshot tips saying, hey, headshot does some more damage, and it's just like, it's just pretty cringe. But I guess we can live it with that. Obviously, take that with whatever you will. Obviously, it wasn't smart. There wasn't any hindsight in this.
It's a bit of a yikes.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a yikes. It's a bit of a corporate fuck up.
But things
moment.
with corporate mess ups and yike moments. Pokemon is not considered an adult game, guys. I hope you knew that. So
I fucking knew it.
yeah, ever since
Is that why everybody ships Misty and Ash all the time?
No. Ever since the Vaporeon meme came around, yeah, that copy pasta. Oh, he doesn't know.
Oh my god! So
know.
they finally approved my Pokemon pornography game. Thank
The
fucking god!
Pokemon
I've been
copy-
making so much bank.
Pokemon copy pasta, where they say Vaporeon has the closest reproductive area for humans, and yeah, it's a meme.
I still think about the TF2 game. About that shit is the funniest thing ever. Please just cap the point. I want this to end.
So Peggy started going in hard with the whole casino, the whole environment when it comes to casino, when it comes to kids being involved in these games. So anything that has a casino atmosphere, or specifically, I think it turns into a Peggy 18, which the ESRB equivalent is AO, which is adults only, which is 18 plus. Is if it teaches you how to play the game like a gambling game. So blackjack isn't considered gambling, and nor is poker. But if it teaches you how to play slot machines, if it teaches you how to play roulette, these are gambling topics. The one thing is that it will turn it into a Peggy 18. Because of that, Pokemon has their own casinos in, I think, most, if not all, games, and they use your little Poke Dollars, and you can go ahead and use your in-game currency. It teaches you to hit the slot machine, and boom, you get a new you get to see if you.
I thought that was only like a Gen 1 thing.
Gen 3 had it, Gen 4 had it. I'm only assuming
Okay.
that.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can only assume that most of them have a casino-like game or a gambling sort of thing. But
Mhm.
now because of this, Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow are now considered PEGI 12. Obviously, these games predate the what do you call it? Predate the
The AO rating.
yeah, that rating. But because of that, what do you call it? Because of that, they're not considered PEGI 12. But we already know that Leaf Green and Fire Red exists, and those aren't affected. But much like how we had Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, just because we had Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, right? That is a like a very every 10 years they do like a game thing, right? Like a remaster,
A remastered of an older
right?
game or a
So
remake.
if they make a new one,
Now we're doing that with Gen 4.
yeah. So if they make a new one, right, a new Gen 1 game that has that casino, automatically PEGI 18.
Nice. So it goes on the shelf next to Yakuza.
So what's funny is that when it comes to what do you call it? FIFA and the loot boxes, which is exactly like a gambling mechanic where you put actual real life money in it. Well, you get you actually put in money in it, you gamble, and what do you get out of it? Just the same thing as you would get a casino. That's still considered PEGI 3, which our equivalent is PEGI, ESRB rated E for everyone. So all I'm saying is that
The irony.
super ironic. I don't understand why it's happening that way, but it's pathetic. But yeah, Pokemon. So yeah, Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. Any Pokemon game that has a casino environment where it teaches you how to gamble, PEGI 12. If it already exists right now, PEGI 12. But any new games that has like if it gets remastered, any games get remastered, it's gonna become a PEGI 18. So maybe this new Pokemon remastered for Pokemon Diamond and Pearl might be a PEGI 18 because of the new rating systems. Who knows? But what do you guys think
It's
about
just
it?
so funny to me is that like they're gonna put a rating on that, but
Honestly-
yet they still allow FIFA games that use actual real life currency, and it's still like that's just weird to
Bro,
me. It's
for
like okay,
real,
I'm all for
though.
like okay, want to put in the background like there's real life microtransactions that use a real life currency. Okay, fine, let your kids and even the parents know they can't control that shit, but to pull up a double standard and be like, no, Pokemon's be teaching these games. Like, well, Pokemon doesn't make you spend actual money unlike other games like fucking Crash, games that are marketed towards children, like, Crash Team Racing. Like, that's a good example right there. That was a game that launched without microtransactions, and then bam, they pull a 180,
Yeah.
and now there's all these fucking microtransactions through the Wampa coin system.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
It's pretty double.
The one thing
No, I was just saying
Oh, I'm
it's
sorry,
double
go ahead.
standards.
I will say though,
Well, we can also talk about like how Halo and all that stuff is also considered gambling, especially Halo 5 with their rec packs and Black Ops 3 with their
Right, but
gambling
their
packs
gobble
too.
gums or whatever.
The
No.
crates,
Not
dude,
their
it's all
gobble
about the
gums, the other
crates.
one. They're
right,
yeah,
and that's like the
supply
thing I'm
drops
saying is
or
that like I'm
supply
not
crates
against the
or-
idea of like okay adding a little sticker on the back saying like hey this game does have microtransactions and it does it does have gambling mechanics that are actual gambling mechanics.
Yeah.
That should be a fair warning. I just think that like changing the entire age rating about that and not even understanding the context of the situation, like okay, if a game has gambling but you spend actual money in it, that's different than you're spending a fake currency you can't buy.
Yeah.
Just to like wrap it up, I guess, much like how there's a rating system for like actual alcoholic references, like Kingdom Hearts
Yeah,
2 had alcoholic references, but it didn't change it like its rating all that much, like at all. It was just like, hey, it has some blood, some alcoholic references, but that, like it doesn't make it into an automatic rated M game. But you could say simulated gambling, right? Or because it's using in-game currency and it teaches you a little bit how to gamble. Like I get what they're trying to do with PEGI, with like, hey, it's trying to like trick your brain into gambling, but that's
right.
honestly, it's whatever. It's a weird system that they're putting in place. I'm not sure if it's going to affect it. Like other companies are going to sue now because obviously like when there's a rated M or rated A or Peggy 18 or Peggy 17 rating on their games that was meant to be geared towards children, it really affects the marketing and really affects the sales too. That's why Smash Bros, when they announced Bayonetta, or when they announced this dude from No More Heroes, they didn't use the franchise's name, or from Assassin's Creed, Ezio from Assassin's Creed, they used, or Altair, I'm sorry, Altair. They didn't use the franchise. They just said, "Oh, Altair," not Assassin's Creed, because then that Nintendo Direct would have been rated M. Or for Bayonetta, when they announced Bayonetta, they didn't really reference so much the game, but just the character itself, so it didn't become rated M.
Right.
So it's a whole marketing thing. So I'm pretty sure there's some lawsuits are gonna come around from this.
Knows,
but
yeah,
who
we'll
knows?
have to wait and see about that.
It's Peggy, so who cares?
All right, hell yeah, brother. So yeah, I guess we should get to the big meaty subject of this video, because this episode, because I have a lot to say. As you guys have probably heard, a big Twitch streamer called Tim the Tatman has announced that he is voluntarily leaving Twitch to go move to YouTube streaming. Now, of course, this is a great thing for him. Now, I know that the first question people are going to ask, like, was he offered money? Was it this, and that? Was he given the Mixer deal? Probably, we don't know. I mean, like, it wasn't like as public knowledge as like with Ninja, that he was told, like, yes, I was offered and exclusively signed into Mixer.
And he made a huge video about
Right.
it, where he's being interviewed.
Yeah, because it was a big deal at the time. It was
What a
like,
flex.
hey, like, he wants to make it like a press conference and blah 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 blah. But what fascinates me so much about this whole thing, for one thing though, it makes me happy knowing that he left Twitch, not that he got banned off of Twitch, unlike his certain friend like Dr. Disrespect, who was banned off of Twitch, who, as I don't know if I brought this up in the podcast before, has said that he finally knows the reason why he was banned off of Twitch, and he plans on pursuing a lawsuit against Twitch, which I'm very interested to see how that plays out. Because while yes, he won't he won't say publicly, probably because of the advice of his lawyers and whatnot, eventually when the
I feel like he said too much when he said.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, like he
like
probably was, I don't know, maybe he was just caught in the moment, or, people probably want to know, like, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, yeah, it's America.
Right.
Like, people will always be like, oh, company, I stubbed my toe against a fucking door today. Are you going to sue? Are you going to sue? Like, that's, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe I might sue a couple G's out of them, Going back to my point. Yeah, so Tim has left Twitch, and Twitch, they even gave him a goodbye. Say, hey, Tim, thank you, so much for being here with us. And what I'm very fascinated with, now I admit, now full disclosure, I am a Twitch streamer at twitch.tv/PepperLifeTV, selfless plug there, no shame. But it's always been fascinating with me with seeing a lot of people moving over to YouTube streaming, mainly voluntarily, because unfortunately, though, there have been cases where people have been banned off of Twitch, like Deller and Dr. Disrespect, that they moved over to YouTube streaming, and then they go back to Twitch if the opportunity arrives. And generally speaking, I looked into, like, what are the benefits of streaming on YouTube and versus the benefits of streaming on Twitch. And from what I can understand, and the gathering from what I got, Twitch, generally speaking, pays better than YouTube streamers, essentially.
Yeah, if you're a bigger content creator, then that's definitely that's true.
Yeah, because
part,
I was because there was a great guy I watched called Harris Heller from Alpha Gaming, that he talked about his time where he went from making 10K a month on Twitch to making 3K a month on YouTube streaming. And to me, that's just kind of crazy. Like, why would you voluntarily take a pay cut like that? And I thought, okay, even if this guy's taking a pay cut, well, what about the bigger guys? I'm saying? I'm not saying this guy is small or anything.
Oh, I think I can answer that question.
I was just gonna say is that, like, even Doc has even said that, like, why would he sue for Twitch aside from shitty terminations and stuff? Like, he's still doing really well, but he's explaining, like, even I have suffered a financial loss moving from Twitch to YouTube. I guess because when you're in a contract and partnerships, you get a little bit of extra, better pay and things like that. But like, that's a good point, where it's like, well, then why would you voluntarily fall for that? And with this Harris guy, he explained that the reason was that he didn't like the idea that Twitch was essentially just only being a streaming platform, and he didn't like the fact that he was streaming under a different name, which he prefers, like, everything being under one branch under his name, because he was streaming under the Alpha Gaming channel. And then he's like, well, I'm going to stream under my name on my YouTube channel with Harris Heller. And I thought, okay, that makes sense. Like, you want to put everything all consistent. And Marcos, what was it you were going to say?
So when it comes to people going from Twitch to YouTube streaming, when they offered these contracts, one of the biggest things I saw in my research is mental health, because normally you would see in these Twitch contracts that they would say, hey, you need to give us 200 hours of streaming per month, and that is roughly about 40, maybe more hours, probably more than 40 hours a week when it comes to streaming. And obviously,
I can't do that. That would drive me up the wall.
Right. We've seen multiple YouTube channels about like, hey guys, like I need to take a break because I'm making content. I'm just having a little creator burnout. You know, I'm not burnout, but like, right. And these people like make videos every now and then, right? Like these are just creating videos, and this is not live streaming, right? But some of these YouTube live stream contracts are $100 a month, which is about 20 to 25 hours. I can't remember the actual precise number per week. That is amazing. Like, for mental health, because obviously with a lot of Twitch creators, they sure they're wrecking a lot of money with these $1 million contracts if you're big, one of the bigger
absolutely
right, bigger OG Twitch streamers. But 40 plus hours a week, it's kind of like but if it's your bread and butter, like, and that's cool. Like if you're Tyler One and you just enjoy streaming just to enjoy streaming, you're having your crappy mic that you found for $5 at a random like Goodwill or whatever, like you're just the meme, you're just enjoying the meme. Or you can just like the Twitch streaming contract is just like, we need hours. That's all we really need. So a lot of people are moving over to the YouTube just for the mental health aspect of it. That's all they really require. Because
yeah, but can you really fault those people?
No, I wouldn't fault them. But to answer Daniel's thing about like you make more money, like that is 100%. Like if you're on Twitch and you're a big name on Twitch.
Yeah, but you're also putting
not just that, but also because
right.
Twitch has essentially, the quote, this Harris guy, he explained that Twitch has figured out a way how to gamify supporting your content creator through financial means. Through subscriptions, bits, donations, and there's all these little minor benefits you get as a subscriber. Like, I've said that time and time again. I think YouTube streaming just needs a little bit more, TLC, a little bit more focus, a little bit more care. Maybe take a little bit more, peek over the window a little bit over their purple neighbor and be like, okay, what are these guys are doing so right that we're not doing right. Like, for example, I think memberships need better incentives. Like, yeah, I know that they say they're like, oh, well, you get all these extra little perks that the content creator has to provide. Like, that's the thing, though. It's not like a standardized thing, Like, for example, I brought up the fact that like you can't use emotes from one YouTube channel to another YouTube channel, which I thought that's kind of lame. Like some people I've known who subscribe to certain channels, they like the fact that like, oh, I like this guy's emotes, so I'm gonna drop $5 a month because I want to use a funny emote from his emote list to another streamer because I think that'll be kind of funny or just entertaining. Yeah, it's free advertisement. Exactly. So I've always thought about that. It's like, well, why is it that, like, why would you voluntarily do that? Now, I don't know, maybe he was offered a financial incentive. Maybe he was offered a good deal to move over to YouTube, which, it's fucking Google money. I wouldn't put it past him. And at least it's not like a Mixer situation where it's like a startup company that got bought by Microsoft and then later, Microsoft used Microsoft money to buy higher paying, streamers thinking that this is what's going to carry the success of the channel, of the site. But, it's fucking YouTube. Like, it's almost like, it's so ironic too, because like if you ever watch like any Twitch like growth guide on any website, it's the same fucking advice. Keep a consistent schedule, be talkative, and also the key important thing though, upload on other platforms, right? They've always told you that, like, don't just only stream on Twitch, because the discoverability on Twitch is practically non-existent. And I've always argued that it's not like the fault of Twitch, because it's just that Twitch isn't the problem, is that live streaming itself is the difficult thing. How the fuck do you like make streams like discoverable? Because all you have is a category at the end of the day, and at best like tags at most. Like what you could find is like, okay, first playthrough, LGBT, ASMR, like things like that. Like, yeah, you have to purposely type that shit in though. But with YouTube and their algorithm, it's a little bit more precise. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense that why people like Harris will be like, well, if I already make YouTube content and I already tell people they have to make YouTube content to watch me on Twitch, that means I have to make a whole other process of getting people who watch me on YouTube to watch me on Twitch as well. And if there's a thing in marketing called you want to lower friction, essentially. You want to make the process for people to get to watching you, to paying you, as painless as possible. Exactly.
Seamless,
So, you know, to tell people from one site to go to another site is a fucking mission, surprisingly, right? And, you know, it's just like one of those things where I start thinking like, well, everybody has a fucking Google account, right? But there are people out there who just say, no, I just only want to support you only on Twitch. And then there's people who only want to support you only on YouTube, you know?
Well, let me see if I can help, at least through my research, help like tackle your points one by one. When it comes to swapping over with Tim, going from Twitch to YouTube, the same with Lupo. Obviously, Dr. Disrespect is not in there. But to briefly cover Dr. Disrespect, sure, he's having a financial hit when it comes to his revenue. When it comes to going on YouTube, but when it comes to concurrent viewers, he has a lot more consistent viewers than he on YouTube than
it's not like
Twitch.
Ninja when he went to Mixer. Like you just saw his viewership like drop like really fucking hard. Like I don't know if they count people like hard, I don't know if they in Mixer they counted people who weren't having like active accounts. You as a viewer, I don't know if they probably did that, but I remember like they're playing a game of fucking Uno with like Tim and like another guy, and he's just like, oh, how many people you got on Mixer? And he's like, oh, but like 500. Like, dude, is that like the entire website watching you?
Basically. So that's one thing though I will say with Dr. Disrespect, it could be similar to with Tim, and mainly because viewership sure will go up, and if you're running ads you'll make a little bit more money with ads, but obviously Twitch has the big what do you call this, I guess you can call it monopoly when it comes to giving out beefy contracts when it comes to money wise. But like in the past money. The original OGs, right, the original OGs from Twitch, they obviously got big contracts in the past, multi-year contracts in the past. It was like, hey, we'll give you this much money throughout this amount of years. If you just stream exclusively on Twitch, you can't cover this, you can cover that, this and that. This is our TOS. You just follow the TOS, and that's pretty easy. But now since Twitch is getting bigger, a lot more streamers are getting bigger there as well. I'm pretty sure they can't really afford to keep everyone around, so I'm pretty sure people are just I wouldn't call it monkey branching, but they're just looking at their options, and YouTube seems like a bit better option. We can look at it at the most popular podcast in the whole world, the whole Joe Rogan Experience, moving from YouTube, signing a $100 million contract with Spotify, and just going to Spotify. Now, if you looked at his statistics, more people would view clips of his podcast compared to the whole podcast. People would prefer just watching specific clips, saying, hey, we talked about this over here or this over there, but you wouldn't know what topics you would hear about when you just click on the entire episode. So one thing about VODs, which is obviously when you think about VODs, video on demand, you would think of YouTube, because YouTube has a monopoly on that. Basically, when you think of streaming, you would think of Twitch, right? Because Twitch is just pure streaming. So one thing about investing your time is once you're done streaming on Twitch, the money stops right there, because you don't have any other, like if you're just streaming on Twitch and you're only doing Twitch, you're done with your stream, you go straight into, hey guys, I'm done and I'm gonna go home now, yada yada yada, bye. The stream ends there, and your viewership to your fans, to your Patreons, they just stop right there. But if you go to YouTube and you watch clips, or they can rewatch the entire video again, they can see the content as a whole, saying, hey, like this is what you missed, right? VODs are a lot more convenient, a lot more easier to run down with. So a lot of people tend to just put, like,
actually,
hey,
that's a good point. I can give you a perfect example. I love Asmongold. I love this guy, right? And I don't give a fuck about World of Warcraft, right? I don't watch Asmongold for his WoW content. I think Asmongold as a person is very interesting to watch. But if I like stumble on his stream, because Harris was bringing up a good point where it's like streaming is going to be such a supplementary thing, where it's like it's not going to be people's main form of content anymore, because streaming itself is not only just not very discoverable, but it's also really awkward, because like you could stumble on in the middle of a stream, and then maybe you're in the middle of a story, and you don't have the context of what the fuck is going on. You can't rewind it like you can on YouTube. At least least with YouTube, you could move the video slider, and then later you could just like get up to the story up to that point, and then just click live, and then it fast forwards you to what's current right now.
Or you can hit 1.5 speed and watch it just accelerated. But like a lot of people tend to do it. They're like, hey, I already caught up. Let me let me I get the context now. So let me just go back.
But I bring up the fact that like with Asmongold, like I know Asmongold mainly through his like other YouTube channel. What people do is that they'll like take his reactions and then they'll just like upload it onto YouTube, and then I get like the full context of the story, and we're like, oh yeah, that's a good point, or like that's some good insight of it right there. And that's where I was gonna bring up this point where, you know, with Twitch just only being a streaming platform, Harris brought up a good point where he said that the Twitch, if it doesn't evolve and start like implementing newer things about it, like for example, he brought up a really genius idea, and I thought about this like, wow, that's a really good idea. Was that he said like, why doesn't Twitch like have like on their app a dedicated like clips scroll feature, kind of like with TikTok? Because that's the big thing right now. People with TikTok is such a great thing because it's 6 seconds, there's no commitment, and if you find something funny out of it, you'll most likely go out of your way to find the streamer, or at least follow the person's TikTok, and then be like, oh, I'm gonna follow this person on Twitch because, you know, I want to see the context of these clips, or I want to see this person do this funny shit live, you know. And that's the thing with YouTube that makes it so good, because with YouTube, you do have 3 options. You do have your streams, you do also have your videos, and you also have those stories. You know, that's all 3 things matched into one. And going back with the Snapchat analogy, what happened with Snapchat? What was Snapchat's innovation to the world? Introducing stories. It was a cool idea, but then what happened? Other websites just said, well, we could just do it as well. Twitter had it, they got rid of it for some reason. I thought the fleets were okay. Instagram has it, Facebook has it, even fucking YouTube has it.
I think fleets suck, honestly. I think fleets are just Snapchat just on a
but that's the point though. It's focus more on like not the exclusivity of Snapchat. Focus on the fact that stories was not an exclusive idea. It became, you know, anybody could do it.
No, but that's not what I'm talking. I don't care if it's exclusive. I just think it's dumb to be on every single social media platform.
But like now, look what happened with Snapchat. Like now they're paying. Now they have to make ads to remind people that Snapchat still exists. Like, have you noticed that? Like, ever since the shitty, like, UI update, like, people just like, all right, fuck this. Why do I even use this anymore? Like, why bother using Snapchat if, like, Instagram has it, if YouTube has it, if Twitter has it? Like, what's the point, you know?
I'll do you one even better. Even Instagram now has vanishing mode, where if you're in the DMs, you just scroll up once you...
Same with Facebook.
Right, you just scroll up all the way and it says, hey, you're now in vanish mode, so your messages will vanish after some time. It doesn't save onto the actual DM chat. So it's it's basically a whole Snapchat copycat. But even though Snapchat is owned by Snapchat is owned by Facebook, which owns Instagram, so seeing stuff like that, like, it doesn't really bother me.
Well, I don't think anybody's gonna go up in arms and be like, I don't like that you use a feature from another platform. I don't like that you make posts. MySpace did it first.
No, I mean,
well,
I just think it's dumb that it's on every single social media platform, not just you know, a few of them. It's like on everything.
I think
it's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, really?
It's not bad, actually.
TikTok, essentially. It's essentially TikTok. You're absolutely right. It's not. But you have Instagram with Reels, and then you have Instagram with Stories.
Right, but I mean, I don't use Instagram, so this is like all new to me, but I know of it. So the point I'm trying to get at with this tangent is that, like, for me, and I hate to get into the topic of like counting a man's pockets. It's not my style. So my initial thought was like, okay, if Tim is taking this deal, maybe he probably didn't think like the money loss was that big of a deal. You know, I at some point I started thinking in the back of my head, it's like, okay, you know, when Ninja left Twitch to go to Mixer, he clearly was offered like millions and millions of dollars, right? And then he became a free agent. He pocketed the money. He went on his merry fucking way, right? But the fact that he didn't just like go to YouTube, he went back to Twitch. Imagine if Ninja left Twitch again to go do YouTube. That's probably a pay loss right there. Now, I'm sure Susan will probably pay him money to incentivize him to make the move, but let's just assume that Tim wasn't offered that. Let's say Tim was like, you know what, I'm going to go stand with my brother in solidarity. I'm going to go ahead and hang out with Doc. I'm going to switch over from the purple to the red, right? And at some point, I figured that it's like, well, you know what, like, Yeah, you're gonna take a pay loss, but I don't think it's gonna be like you're gonna be starving anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if you're smart with your money, you probably didn't put all your eggs in one basket. You probably like, well, if anything, I could just take all the money that I made on Twitch and just like put it on everything else that will supplement it, if not surpass it. So I could just go on any platform the fuck I feel like. You know what I'm saying?
So one thing I did see in my research is Twitch is a lot more popular and geared towards first world developed countries, especially the United States. But Facebook literally has 2+ billion registered users. YouTube is basically automatically installed on all Androids, and most of the world uses Androids. So that's already another 2+, maybe even 3 billion users already on YouTube, already on Facebook. Look at T-Series, look at PewDiePie. They both have billion+ subscribers. They like obviously Twitch doesn't have those numbers. Twitch doesn't really hit the whole second and third world countries the same way Facebook and YouTube does. I mean, even look at WhatsApp. WhatsApp is probably one of the most used applications in the entire Western Hemisphere because of how like the South America, Central America, and even North America, even in Canada, everyone's using WhatsApp. That is a Facebook application. It is owned by Facebook. So if you want to be discovered and you want to do multi-streaming, which prior to starting the podcast, Streamlabs has an option where it makes it easier to do dual streaming or multi-streaming because you just hit a button, set it all up, and you can stream to multiple streaming platforms. One thing that you like, I think you brought it up, Daniel, that you want to diversify your like to get discovered. You want to just not stay on Twitch. You want to do other things. So Facebook, I've known plenty of streamers who started off real small, and now they have a name, and they don't want to stream on Twitch and YouTube just because of preferences. But Facebook really got them on the map just because there's 2+ billion users. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people want to transfer to YouTube, is just to get a better what do you call it, yes, discoverability. There you go. So one thing that Twitch doesn't do is it just to cover one of the things you did mention was sure they have tags, but you could be scrolling for hours until you find that one person you wanted to find this whole time because you can't remember the name. But like you pass by, you're like, oh, there they are, right? Like Twitch has a horrible freaking what do you call it, discoverability thing, because it works okay for the top, like everyone.
Oh yeah,
from, like,
the meta essentially is boiled down that
plus.
if you're the top dog from the early days, you're pretty much going to be comfy for the rest of your life. You're always going to be recommended. Like
Right.
if you go on Twitch like right now, and the left hand side, it's the same names: XQC, Ludwig, Summit, Shroud. Those names are Amaranth. This lady doesn't get fucking ad support, and her name is still put on the fucking sidebar. As with everybody else, like it's just boiled to a point. Now I'm not saying, because a lot of people get this idea like when fucking when Mixer was a new thing, every fucking schmuck was saying like, I'm gonna leave Twitch and then later I'm gonna be successful on Mixer. No, dude, you're just playing in a different league at this point. You still got fucking competition. I'm not saying that like if I go to YouTube all of a sudden I'm gonna blow the fuck up. I just think that with YouTube there's a higher chance that I might succeed because of the way how the YouTube system is set up, and plus with other content as well, that people could be like, oh, for example, I watched this guy who does Fallout content all day. I watched one of his streams, and then later he just does a lot of Fallout content, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch him live stream because I know that he plays a lot of Fallout. I already know this guy because I've already seen his videos. If you watch like a Tyler One fucking stream and you don't even like League of Legends, and maybe aside from the memes they make out of him, you might not get a quite understanding of this character. You know what I'm saying?
So one thing about discoverability on Facebook and YouTube, it's like their algorithms are very scary when it comes to like when and what you want. Sometimes people, there are many cases of like people getting pregnancy tests or Plan B ads prior to a woman who knows that she's pregnant. Like Google will know, Facebook will know prior to you even knowing that you're pregnant, and they'll just throw it in there. These ads are like super, like they know when you poop. Like Facebook literally knows when you poop. If you're using Facebook or you're using Instagram, with your locations on, or when you have a when you have your internet on and you're connected to some sort of Wi-Fi out there, and you're eating at a cafe
No.
or something, 6 hours later, there's a window. Facebook will know when you're gonna go poop. It studies you. That algorithm, that AI, is creepily accurate.
Welcome to the future,
it's
boys.
It's scary. Right. So this is the AI that already exists that makes our lives easier. I mean, do you guys even use the Explore option on YouTube? Or do you just go to recommended? Because the AI, the algorithm in YouTube already knows exactly what you want, exactly what you want to look at. So sure, it'll recommend the same video, like the same channels over and over again that you're already subscribed to, but it'll also recommend, like it happens to me today, it happened to me last week, saying, hey, here's a new channel I never heard of. And I started just watching this channel because it was recommended to me, because this algorithm knows about it, knows what I want, knows when I want it somehow, and I just clicked it. And when I clicked it and watched the whole video, and I didn't leave a comment or I didn't leave a like, it still says that, hey, like you watched the whole thing, so I guess we were right. So the whole algorithm on YouTube and Facebook, it's a lot. Plus, with the amount of users, over 2 billion users, it makes it much more easier to be discovered, as well as Kenny, have you heard of the Warzone streamer Thin?
Nope.
No, I
Have you, Daniel?
haven't.
I don't know.
Well, he's one of the top dogs.
I don't know a
in
single
Warzone.
Facebook streamer
I
at
own-
all.
Well, he's not a Facebook streamer.
I don't know
He-
any.
Oh,
He
okay.
does
streamers at
multi
all.
streams. He is a big Warzone streamer. Like, he's really, really good at the game. He participates in multiple tournaments. Yada yada yada. I only got a chance to know him through Facebook because it was just recommended to me, because I was watching a video about Call of Duty, which led to another video about Warzone, and so on and so forth, and then it led me to his live stream. He was already set, and he does multi-streaming. I think he does Twitch, Facebook. I don't know if he does YouTube as well, but I'm pretty sure his clips are on YouTube. But he has like multiple screens for like different
Chats.
what do you
That
call
sounds
it?
like a nightmare.
To check his chats.
I mean, I'm
He
sure.
enjoys
Look,
it.
I'm
He-
fine with
he
it.
honestly-
Look, my
he's
take
glad
on
of the Switch.
multi-streaming is if you could do it good for it. I just don't personally think it's worth it. I think you should just pick a platform that you're more comfortable with and just go from there. Because
Sure, if you're bigger, but if you want to be discovered, you need to.
no, I get that.
diversify.
That's what I was saying
You have
earlier. Is
to.
that why
There's-
you have to stream? That's why you have to do other content on other
Yeah.
platforms. So fuck it. If you're doing Twitch, all right, make those Twitch clips, put them on TikTok. That could help you. If you're gonna do it on Instagram or whatever, do that as well. I'm not saying that you have to multi-stream. I'm just saying is that like you just have to use your platforms. Not all streaming. Just make content for each platform. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, good example. Deller. I've discovered Deller
Right,
through his Rage
right.
comps, right? One day I stumbled on his Twitch stream,
You're right.
became a fan of his ever since, right? That's a good example right there. He didn't
Okay.
multi-stream. He just made his best parts of his streams, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch this guy." And at first, I was like, people type in and be like, "Where's the rage? Where's the rage?" I'll be like, "No, fuck that. This guy's really good at Apex. I just want to watch him, fucking dominate."
Well, to counter your claim when it comes to it's kind of annoying to do multi-stream. Sure, that was the case back then, but it's a much more easier now. Both of you have Streamlabs, and well, Streamlabs makes multi-streaming a whole
No,
lot
I
seamless.
believe you.
A
Yeah,
lot
I
more
get
seamless,
that.
I'm sorry.
I'm not even just talking about like just a headache of it. I mean, like aside from, fucking operating 3 chat windows, I think that it's just also the
Right.
fact that like it's going to be very difficult for companies to be like, "Hey, you should, exclusively stream on our platform and we're going to incentivize you with it when you're already streaming on their fucking platform."
One thing I will say about reading chats, many many content creators tend to just ditch reading the chat, mainly
Well, it's
because
impossible.
It's just like kind of annoying. Yeah, it's impossible, or it gets annoying, where they have to like stop every now and then, and they make it a mission and a half just to like, oh, I have to listen to I have to read every message, I have to do this and that. A lot of people tend to like focus too much on it, which is sort of like not too good. But if that's what you want to do, I mean, more power to you. But when it comes to just doing multi-streaming, honestly, if you're just starting out and you don't have an exclusivity contract, why do you want to restrict yourself to just basically doing one thing that to a specific platform that doesn't want to help you in any way discover for you to be discovered and get bigger, and they just want you to just keep
Mhm.
bringing in as much money you want, like as much money that you can bring to them. They're not going to help you out in any way. Unlike when it comes to Twitch, since it's mostly a first world country application or streaming platform, most people who what do you call it, who stream and who watch these streams are from first world countries. Obviously, Hispanic communities, like in second world countries, are doing better when it comes to streaming. Like people from Mexico or people in South America are seeing a little bit more success on Twitch from these second world countries, but that's not the rule. It is the exception. So it's something that I would recommend personally, just to get yourself just to discover, to put your brand out there, make it more discoverable, to help you out, and then also diversify using with clips, going on Instagram, TikTok, whatever you can, just to spread your message around and be that annoying sales guy saying, "Hey, look at my stuff over here. Look over here."
And try not to not sound
attention.
desperate at all.
Well, I think that's subjective, because if you're just multi-streaming, if you think that's someone being desperate from the get-go, then
no,
that's
it is.
on you.
That's
But
what I'm
if
saying.
I
It
do
is on me.
multi-stream,
I understand that. No, that's what I'm saying. I just believe that's like you should use each platform for what they're good at individually. If you're gonna do stream on Facebook and Twitch, okay, whatever. But if you're gonna stream on YouTube, well, why don't you just take the best parts of your stream and just put it on YouTube at that point? And then later, that's easy. You know how easy it is to type in Twitch compilations? Easily.
Oh, right. You brought up the whole clipping thing.
Like that's what I'm getting at. Like that's why I tell people
Twitch.
that like why I don't think you should do multi-streaming, because you're using what's the best part of Twitch? You live stream, because that's what it is. You don't do videos on Twitch because you can't, and secondly, that's what the platform is for. You do stories on Instagram because that's what they're good at, right? You do the same thing for TikTok. You do videos on YouTube because what is it good at? Doing YouTube. That's doing videos, and that's what I'm like saying is like rather than doing all that multi-streaming crap and then later have to like stress the shit out of the servers and things like that, and you know, and it's not gonna work as easy as it sounds, because there's always a fuck up from everybody I've ever heard that ever tried it. I just don't feel like that you're not using your proper streams at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like imagine like your entire content is like a body, right? Your right arm is good at videos, so you use it for YouTube. Your left arm is good for streaming, you use it for Twitch. Your right leg is good for clips, you put it on fucking TikTok. Your left leg is good for social media, you use your Twitter. You see where I'm getting at? Like that's my way of looking at things. You know, I'd rather use the best parts of certain platforms to help myself rather than just putting equal effort on things that don't really help in the same process. You know what I'm saying?
Well, all right. So when it comes to Twitch users, and this is just me thinking about it as a,
here's another question I want to know. Sorry to interrupt. Like, what is the number between streamers to Facebook on Facebook, like streamers to watchers on it? I'm assuming that it's much more smaller, right? There isn't that much competition because everybody who has a Twitch account could get a stream key and then stream on Twitch, right?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like,
by streamers
okay,
to watchers?
do you think everybody who uses Facebook wants to be a streamer?
Who uses? No. But here's the I guess you're using a fallacious argument for that, and here's why. The amount of users that are on Facebook easily get close to 3 billion. Like I can look it up right now. Let me see how many users are on
assuming that they
Facebook,
all watch streams.
Right? No, just users. We're not talking about watching streams. We're just talking about users as a whole. 2.89 billion monthly active users as of the second quarter of 2021. Now let's do Twitch. It's anywhere between 41.5 to 51.6 million. No, right now it's in 2020 there are 41.5 million Twitch users, and is estimated to rise to 51.6 million. Dude, that's more than 1,000. I gotta do the math on that real quick. That's
It's definitely a number. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
It's way more than 1,000. Probably 2,000% more. Like it's some arbitrary number, right? Don't take my actual math for it, but it is crazy. Facebook also does something called boosting. Boosting is where it takes with their crazy AI that knows exactly when you're pregnant, that knows exactly when you want to plan B, and it knows exactly when you want to go poop, right? That AI, that algorithm, could just, hey, you're watching a video about The Office, right? All right, cool, no problem. Hey, we also saw that you like The Office, you like this show, you like that show. Hey, you also play video games. Hey, you like Netflix, right? Here's The Witcher. Hey, we also saw that you saw interest in gaming. Hey, would you like to see some Witcher clips? And if you stay watching a Witcher clip for more than like I think 30 seconds, like an actual like video, it'll keep recommending you stuff. I think there is a limit. Like if you're watching a video, it'll keep recommending you more of that video, like more of it, right? If you're watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, if you watch like more than like 15 seconds, the next video beneath it will be replaced with another Brooklyn Nine-Nine video. So on and so forth. And this little boosting thing also works for live streams. It'll randomly just recommend you, randomly, and you can just scroll past it whenever you want. You can just scroll past it.
Right.
What do you call it? Just a live stream. And if you watch it for just a mere 10 seconds, it knows that you're interested in streaming. I mean, not streaming, but watching a stream. That's how they got me. That's how I'm watching 10, like whenever I'm just looking at Facebook for memes and I click on something and I keep scrolling things that are related to this thing, out of nowhere, here comes Drew Dog, an Australian Warzone player that I like watching his stuff because he's such a wholesome dude. Here comes, what's his name? A whole bunch of Facebook streamers that are just streaming on Facebook. I never expected to watch streams on Facebook, but the AI literally got me into seeing these streamers who only stream on Facebook. Basically 3 billion users in contrast to a 4.15 million users. If I were to this is the whole like reference I wanted to make, the whole hypothetical. If I were to make a market where in a city where there is 2 million people, or I can make a market where there's how would I do this, 41,000 people, and my whole thing is, hey, I'm gonna open up a new store in the area where I'm gonna make the most money and get my name tossed around and just more popular. I'm gonna do it in the bigger city because
well, why not hit both cities?
More traffic. I'm gonna hit more. I don't
what do you
have
mean?
the money for it. But that's the whole thing with multi-streaming. But you don't want a multi-stream. That's what I'm trying to get into the whole like why you should do Facebook streaming. If anything, if you look at the 2020 analytics in the when it comes to streaming, Twitch did excellent, especially in quarter 2 to 3. It boosted. It dipped a little bit in quarter 4, but it still kept going on in 2021, right? Facebook had the biggest boost in percentage wise, because obviously more people are using Facebook for streaming and all that stuff because of lock-ins and whatever, right? But that's like from like, imagine having like 100 streamers to like 20,000 streamers. Sure, the percentages are different, but even then, with the whole lock-ins and with the whole
everyone's
virus that
watching
we
more
had,
content,
right. But on YouTube, YouTube was kind of lacking. It was like, So when it came to streaming, gaming as well. So if you want to diversify your portfolio, you might as well just
do whatever the hell you want, right? Who the fuck am I to tell you what to do? I'm just only saying why I would never do it, but. But going back, but essentially, I know we went off this whole tangent about like multi-streaming things like that. But my point is though, exactly, is like my take on the whole like the switch from going from Twitch to YouTube. I see the reason. I can see why a lot of people do it because they like the brand recognition. Like going back to the Harris guy, he said the reason why was that he liked the fact that everything was under his umbrella. He brought up the fact that Twitch, streaming is no longer just a Twitch only thing anymore because you can stream on Instagram, on Twitter, on fucking YouTube now. Right. So that's not like. Yeah, so it's no longer like a Twitch-only thing you could do, and people, and I think that makes sense, where it's like, well, if I'm going to make YouTube content anyways, why don't I just stream on YouTube as well? Because now people who are subscribed to my YouTube channel from my YouTube content already knows, like, hey, I'm live, and like they don't need to like wait for me to tweet about it. They don't gotta like follow me on a different website altogether. Like shit, sometimes like there'll be YouTubers that make a Twitch page like early on in their career, and then later they don't use it for the longest time, and then I have to follow them on Twitter just so they could tell me that, oh yeah, I'm live on Twitch, and it's like, and then you see like they got like nothing on that platform. So obviously though, aside from the obvious thing that people probably go to Twitch because they know that they get paid more, and and that's the risk you take when you leave that platform. There's some people out there who are just like, well, I just like the uniformity because maybe they make their money back, or maybe they'll be making more money with the combination of the YouTube success, that it basically overlaps essentially. So I don't think Tim is going to be struggling anytime soon going from it, because clearly after he did the move, like Doc and him have been streaming together. They're both pulling great numbers. It's great to see two friends coming back to stream again. And if I could get off this one tangent, there's always been this one thing I hate about Twitch that I find it so ridiculous. It's almost like Lord Voldemort kind of crap, where I hate where like if a Twitch streamer is banned, you know, I get it. It's like, okay, if a Twitch streamer is banned, you don't want them on their platform. But the fact that you have to limit a streamer from talking about them is what kind of bothers me, right? So there was a time where, like, I was watching Lyndon, you know, he was doing like random trios in Warzone, right? And some guy said like, "Oh, you're Lyndon." He's like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" And he's like, "Oh, you played with Doc, right?" And he's like, "Who's Doc?" And he's like, "Oh, Dr. Disrespect's." Like, I know what you're talking about. And I thought like that's really weird. And then I found out the reason is because like Twitch doesn't want you to like give a gateway to any banned personnel on their platform. But I think that that's so ridiculous, because then it's like, well, what if you can't avoid it? What if you're both competing in the same fucking tournament? Like, I remember that was a big deal. Like, Doc was doing like a Warzone tournament, and then like Symphony was like talking about like, oh shit, like, wait, if Doc is here, like, does that affect? And they have to like message their PR guy mid tournament, be like, yo, is this okay? Can we do this, or are we kind of gonna get fucked? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I've always
That's one of the issues I have with Twitch, especially with exclusivity. Like, even Facebook and YouTube don't do exclusivity because they honestly don't care.
Right, and that's also ironic too, because I brought up the fact that like even IRL streamers are, you know, toxic or, you know, or problematic. You know, they'll still use their clip content because to them Twitch is like, well, it's our content now, so we might as well just use it. Even though like, don't ask about this guy because we're not going to tell you what his channel name was because he doesn't have a fucking channel on our platform anymore.
Oh yeah, because he got banned. Yeah, so that's one thing. Like Twitch, like it's, I don't know why they're running it that way, but obviously YouTube gaming is going to be a.
I see potential. I look, if you
point.
want my take on the matter, I see the potential. I followed a handful of YouTube streamers out there. I just think that YouTube needs to stop treating it like an afterthought. I think that they need to dedicate an actual page for streamers and actually give like proper categories and things like that, because finding a stream on YouTube is such a fucking crapshoot. It's like, it's so like, just a stream, not a video, just a stream is such a crapshoot. And I think that that's the problem. You know how they could easily solve it? I've said this to Marcos earlier before the pre-show, where I said like, guys, like, why don't they just pull out a tab where you just like, you go down and you say YouTube live, and then you show everybody that's live, go by category, things like that. But when you pull up, like right now, if I'm trying to find a live stream, I just scroll past my subscriptions, past my library, past the homepage, all the way down to live. And then later, okay, cool, now we got a bunch of live videos right here. But then it's treated like a fucking channel, so you have to subscribe to the channel. And then later you go to gaming, and it's like, okay, cool, now there's top live games, and then there's just a bunch of YouTube game content in the bottom. But there's no like page where it's just, okay, here's all the live streams going on right now, you know?
Yeah, that's one thing. Even Facebook's has their own like live chat. Like,
I've only stumbled on fucking Facebook
the,
live streams. Like, I've never like clicked on anything to find a live anything. But then again, I haven't used Facebook in years.
Right, but even their like with the application itself on the phone, they have their own separate live section. And much like with the AIs, like, hey, if you've watched this content before, here's some random creators that you've never heard about. And that's just, there you go. And they could be popular sometimes with 1K concurrent viewers and sometimes with like 10. As well as with the actual website itself has their own little live page, even though I feel like maybe because I'm used to I guess I'm used to being on the phone, going on the website, it feels a lot more weirder, but they still have their own dedicated live page. I'm not quite sure if you guys saw it, but like when it comes to Twitch, having their channel, like their whole, like when you go into the homepage and everything's like live, everything looks so nice, so pretty, so well packaged. But YouTube doesn't have that.
Again, like I said, it feels like an afterthought. It's like the only way you're gonna know someone's streaming is if they're already streaming, and that's, or you're already that's what I'm saying. Like, that's it. Like, I don't know. It's just like, I feel like that's what YouTube needs to do. They need to stop treating it like an afterthought.
One thing that YouTube does do that I really, really enjoy is like, hey, people who watched this video also watched this video, like in your recommended. So like if I'm watching a Super Mario Bros, like Super Mario Maker 2 video, right, for Pangea, Raise Fire, which is his homeboy, it says, hey, people who watch this also watch this. And I go, hey, man. And I see them stream together, too. So I'm like, I might as well watch them as well because it's the same freaking content. And that's one thing that YouTube and Facebook and Twitch can benefit. It's like, hey, this person streamed with this person. It's like this person hosted this stream. You know how like you can host streams? Yeah, so like on Twitch, which I think is phenomenal. Much like how you said it's great that you can gift subs. That's a phenomenal thing of Twitch. You can host another sub and their viewerships will
Oh,
transfer
you mean like
over.
raids and stuff
That's
like
pretty
that? Like,
freaking
yeah,
cool.
that's a smart thing too, because that's a fun thing to do too,
Mhm.
as well. Just raid a small channel just for the hell of it, and be like, hey, here's 500 followers right now, dude, and that could that's your moment of time to shine, where it's like, oh shit, I'm on the spot, but god damn it, this I can make it,
Imagine you're just playing Smash Bros.
shits
just
and
to
giggles.
just to eat shit, right? Just because you want to, and then out of nowhere, hey, Hungrybox started raiding you. And you're like, oh snap! And then in the future, someone could like in the Twitch homepage, it says, hey, Hungrybox recently hosted or rated or whatever this channel, and you'll get once you get like people get recommended to you. That's what I'm saying. These are like the smaller upgrades that can help with discoverability. Just
And
because
again,
why
yeah.
not?
All I'm saying is
that's all I'm
YouTube
saying.
needs to take a
Yeah.
look over the purple neighbor and just be like, all right, I want to copy that shit. And I think that there's a lot of potential,
Mhm.
but we'll have to wait and see.
Minus all the stipulations that,
Yeah, YouTube
that
isn't
the
without
purple
its
neighbor
sin.
comes
Yeah,
with
the
that
only reason why
nonsense.
I'd be a little bit
But
hesitant is that like the idea is like it's always a bad idea to have all your eggs in one basket, because let's be honest though, like YouTube isn't is totally not a fair site that totally gives you good job security no matter what. So like that's the only
This is
You
true.
could say one weird word that could be considered a proper word in your language, but it's demonetizable in YouTube's TOS, or because there is no rubric on like, hey, you can't use
Right.
these words, you can't use this, this, and that. But yeah,
remember when everything was a guessing game?
it's
That
so
was
ironic.
fun.
And their YouTube channel, a specific YouTube channel, came out saying, hey, we've tested like we have like 10-second videos, all our videos, and all we say is one word, and we see if it got demonetized or not. And they say things like something that's bad, like something that's good, right? But the singular
Yeah.
version is bad, but the plural version of the word is okay. So imagine if they demonetize the word goose, but geese.
That's
is
that's
okay.
offensive in certain countries.
like
Marcos.
nonsense
You
like
should be
that.
really considerate.
I'm sorry.
We probably lost like some foreign
Yeah,
country
man.
right now. We're
You
probably
know.
gonna starve to death now. Yep.
You breathe, you go to jail.
I'm sorry, guys. I guess I'll just unalive
Make
myself.
sure you
Say
make an
something wrong,
apology
you
video.
straight to
Don't worry,
jail.
snap some mid-roll ads here and there, because goddamn, we're gonna make our money back. Plug your merch. Don't forget about that. And also, don't forget to advertise that you're also, gonna donate to charity. But really, we're doing it for the tax write-off because we're fucking rich, apparently.
How about this? For my apology video, I'll start off with like breathing in.
Oh,
real
make
deep,
sure you're
like-
petting a dog too while you're at it. Let's
Oh.
get some brownie points for that.
Yeah, I'm holding my animal, right? I'm holding a cat or whatever. It's like just say, well, guys, with a heavy heart, I have to say this. It's time to say this. But before I do, a word from our sponsors, Raid Shadow.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's just like, yeah, this is what I wanted to see in the apology video. This is exactly what I wanted to see. So,
Anyways,
yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know. I just.
But yeah, I think we should just go ahead and wrap, because we're doing laps right now. So yeah, everyone, thank you so much for watching or listening to the DKM podcast. As you know, you can watch us here on YouTube. If you haven't yet, please follow me on Twitch at Pepper Live TV. We're so close to hitting affiliate status. I really, really, really tried so hard, and I only could get so far.
Oh,
Anyways, yeah, thank you so much. If you haven't yet, like, you join our Discord server, follow us on Twitter. We give updates of whenever our episodes go live and any content we have planned out. And we'd love to have you on board and see what you guys think about our show, and talk directly to us, and maybe we have some fun game events coming up soon. But I think with that, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up now. Take care, stay safe, and keep streaming. And